Hi, I'd like to call the meeting of the, I always get the time wrong. It's
7:35.
7:35. Thank you. It's 7:35. I can't tell time when I'm on this call, and somebody's just coming in right now. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the RTM Parks and Recreation meeting.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
You're-
I think we'll all need to mute except for,
No, I did it. I think that was me.
oh, okay.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah, because I had two devices for a second, and I think I've cleaned it up. So I should
Oh,
be
that
good.
Oh,
was
okay.
fun.
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. I can't see you, but I hear you.
I'll get the other
Okay.
clicks done while you guys start. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All
I
right.
can hear you.
Super. Thank you. All right. Uh, this is a virtual meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee of the RTM. It's Thursday, February 16th. Calling it to order. And Sue Ellen, could you call it to take attendance?
Sure. Sarah Baldwin. Don't see Sarah. Patty. I see Patty.
Yep.
Diane.
Here.
Adele.
Here.
Alicia Johnson. Kim Kiner.
Here.
Tony Larino.
Present?
Alyssa Mahoney.
Here.
Oh, there you are. Andy Millar.
Over here.
Cheryl, I saw earlier. Where'd she go? Okay. Let's see. Sandy Savage is not here.
That's right. We lost her.
Shannon Silsby. There you are. Okay, you moved. And then Bill Van Loan.
I
No.
think Bill's away.
Okay. Okay.
But we did have Cheryl, but I think she's gone.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what happened to her. Maybe she'll be back.
I think she probably will be. Okay. All right. First off is approval of minutes of December 5th and then the 4th of January. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? So let's take the December meeting first, December 5th. Okay. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as they are then?
So moved.
Diane and Patty, all those in favor, raise your hand. Against? See you, Andy. Abstentions?
I guess I should abstain since I wasn't at the meeting to pass on the minutes.
You can vote if you like, as long as you're just sort of voting to say that you know somebody did a good job or something.
All right.
Oh,
You
there's
can
Sarah.
put me as an I then.
Well, and Sarah just came on. You saw her.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thank
Thank you.
And Cheryl just texted me that she's off. So
No, she's coming back on.
good. Okay. All right then.
There she is. Okay.
All right. And the minutes for January 4th, are there any additions or corrections? May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Diane, Alyssa, all those in favor, raise your hand. I can see everybody. That's great. Okay.
So
Opposed?
who was second? Who seconded it?
Alyssa?
Oh, Alyssa was okay. So who made the motion to? I guess
Diane made the motion.
oh,
Yeah.
Diane. Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Okay. All right. Sometimes some people have a lag, I notice, so like Andy, I think his hand, it takes a while, but he's there. I know you can hear, so we're good. Now I don't have my ears. You're right. Usually I have my ears. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right then. Okay, so that's unanimous. Thanks, guys. And the first thing we're going to talk about really is the discussion and vote of acceptance and appropriation of a gift of $20,000 for the renovation of the Cherry Lawn gazebo. I think you probably don't know, Tony, but we've been talking about the Cherry Lawn gazebo for a long time. It's needed work, and for a while the commission took them a while to decide what they wanted to do, whether they wanted to replace it or whether they wanted to just renovate it. And they decided last fall that they really just wanted to renovate it. So we had $15,000 that had been appropriated from our capital budget, maybe year before last, for fixing the roof of the gazebo. So that was done in December. And then this is a donation of $20,000 by a family who were looking for a way to honor their father who had died. And so they are graciously giving $20,000 to renovate the gazebo, which will mean the ramp there's a handicap ramp with railings that needs to be replaced, plus some boards are rotten in the gazebo itself. So that will cover that. And then they also would like a plaque for their father. But the reason why it's taken, when you accept a gift, the gift needs to go through. It starts with the board. It starts with when it's coming from for Parks and Rec. It starts with the commission's approval. Then they need the approval of the selectmen and the approval of the Board of Finance, and finally the RTM. So this is the last step, and they didn't bring it forward until they got a bid, for how much the renovation was really, they were sure about what it was going to cost and make sure that $20,000 was going to cover it, which it does. And the bid's for $17,500, and so that'd be enough left over to do that plaque. And so now that's why it's come forward now. And so may I have a motion? Well, I'll read you what it says in the resolution. It says, now therefore be it resolved that the representative town meeting of the town of Darien hereby authorizes and approves the acceptance of gift with thanks to the Dortelman family in the amount of $20,000 for the repair and restoration of the Cherry Lawn Park gazebo. So may I have a motion for that, Patty?
I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Kim? Is there any discussion? Questions?
I just wanted to give Tony, since he's new, a 1-minute background. Also, the reason this whole project took a little bit longer was there was talk about taking it all down and doing a big kind of rectangular vinyl one. And after a lot more due diligence, the commission, with feedback from our committee and people who go to Cherry Lawn all the time, felt that it was kind of an iconic gazebo there. They'd really like the shape. It fits within the perimeters under the trees by the pond. A big long rectangular one would have blocked it, and to stay with the wood instead of vinyl. And so that just took a little bit longer to get to that process. But then the family was very, very happy with that. And the kicker was, we found out in doing due diligence that the Girl Scouts of Darien many, many, many years ago had started a recycling program, and as a result they put that money towards the building of the gazebo. So no, that was one of those where if you were on the fence, you're like, oh nope, we're not taking it down, because why take down something that people have worked so hard for? So it's just a whole nice story. And then the plaque is in honor of the father, who used to skate quite a bit and taught his kids to skate there. So it's a beautiful story. And then most likely we're going to be using a quote that he used to say along with the family name. So that's just a quick update.
Is the family name public? Is that a curiosity? Or
Yes,
Yeah, there was an article in the paper last week.
it's the Dortelman family. I forwarded you guys the patch article.
Sorry. Yeah, I see that now in the.
Yeah, well, you can read the details of it. They say more than I could have possibly have known. It's actually a very nice article, and
Really nice.
all of it's
Yeah,
very nice.
Very meaningful.
Nice family. And the gentleman died during COVID, so they thought this would be a good way of remembering him. So that's all. It's good. So may I have, we have a motion. Well, maybe we don't have a motion. Do we have?
No.
Yes. I need a motion then to approve the acceptance and the, it's
We
not
made the
just-
motion.
Yeah,
I
we
did.
did that.
That's, we
Patty
did
made
that.
the
Sorry
motion.
about that, guys.
We just
Okay,
need a
so
vote.
let's vote.
Yep.
Let's
Yeah.
vote. All right. Everybody in favor, raise your hands.
Okay, looks like it's, can you,
That's
okay,
unanimous. That's unanimous.
yeah, okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, just let me do this.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, guys, I'd like to change the order of business. I'd like to move the budget update to the next, because it kind of gives you background on the other gift. So, so may I have a motion to move the budget update to the next thing that we discuss? Out of, change the order of business. That would be Kim and Alyssa. All those in favor? That it's okay to move it? Okay, thank you very much. I think it helps. Just a quick update for where we are on the budget. We're through the process where the commission has sent their recommendations to the town administrator. The town administrator has put together her budget and sent and given it and presented it to the Board of Selectmen. And the Board of Selectmen have now voted on their budget, and it now moves to the Board of Finance. But so to let you know where we kind of stand with the budget for now, the operating budget, what changed? This is what I'm going to talk about. It's just a quick one. The town administrator did not support the new FTE, the full-time employee that they had that the Park and Rec had requested. But she did restore the part-time positions that it was going to take the place of. So there's no harm there. She also reduced the increase in the invasive work. They asked for $25,000 and it was reduced, but it was still an increase. And I'm not real positive about the exact numbers of that, but that's where it is. Patty, do you remember the exact numbers? I think what it is that they added, it went up to probably around 14.5. I'm not sure, something like that, as opposed to 25,000. Anything else from operating, Patty, that I'm?
I would just say that we
Changes.
got 2 wins, that they had taken, Kate had taken the aerator, the solar panel aerator.
We're just doing operating right now.
Oh, that's right. That was under capital. Okay, got it.
Yeah. We're going to get there. I can't think of anything else that changed. Everything else pretty much
Nope,
stayed the
the
same.
big stuff was in capital. Hmm?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, any questions? Anybody? Okay, we'll move on to capital now. So for the capital, the town administrator deferred quite a few things, and I'm going to pull up. I was like so pleased because for the longest time they didn't update the spreadsheet for what the Board of Selectmen approved. It was still on the website. It was still just the town administrator. So I was a little frustrated, but got it now. So I'm going to go through and tell you just for. It's not all that much. So let's go through it line by line of what was asked and what happened. The aerator, which Patty just mentioned, it was the department requested it. The town administrator did not pass it along to the Board of Selectmen, but the Board of Selectmen did decide to put it back in. So the aerator that's a solar pond aerator at Cherry Lawn. So it was returned to the budget.
Adele, can I
You
just
want
make
to
a quick
give a
note?
little color on that, Patty?
Yeah, just for people like Tony who's newer, that's an example where when we're at the budget, sometimes we don't know. Sometimes they lob in a cut at the last minute, and that's fair for them to do. But usually we get a heads up on stuff, and so we found out at the meeting before, which was the Tuesday night, I think, the two things for capital along were going to be taken out, and so we were able to rally the troops, so to speak. And the Board of Selectmen got a lot of emails on that aerator, a lot of emails from people who spend time down at Cherry Lawn every day. And one of the tipping point emails was from the Darien Nature Center program director, who had been taking water samples since July for 3 months, 2 to 3 times a week. She had high school students helping her. She had written a grant to get that. They were taking samples, and the oxygen level of that pond was supposed to be around 10 to 12. Um, the lowest it should be is 6, and we were at a 5.4. So when she detailed that, that was an example of a tipping point where, you know, it's a health and safety issue, and we don't want to kill our fish, and we want to keep everything going and growing. And the other thing that folks
We'll get
talked
there.
about was we
Hang
spent the
on,
money
hang
on
on.
the gazebo, as
Yeah, yeah.
Adele said, and we did the invasive work to clear it all out so we could see it, but
Right.
we had this ugly green pond. So
Yes, it was
just to
green.
close,
I wanted you to say green.
yeah, we used the solar. One of the best lines of one of the emails was using solar panel. We used good green to get rid of bad green. And so we were thrilled that they put that back in the budget.
Yeah. Okay,
And is it fair to say that rallying of troops was orchestrated by people in this group and others?
Yes,
yes,
Okay.
team effort.
it was a team effort. It was the commission and us, definitely. Another thing, the next thing that was on the capital list was repaving the Nature Center driveway with an estimate of 50,000. I think actually the town administrator looked into it and thought it was going to cost considerably more than that. So she removed that, and it stayed out of the budget for now. The evaluation of 3 Little League fields for 50 at McGuan Park. For the department requested $15,000, and neither the town administrator nor the Board of Selectmen put that forward. Renovation of the cement patio at McGuan was in both the town administrators, and it made it through the Board of Selectmen. No questions about that. And the installation of the irrigation valve at Holohan Field went through just fine in both the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen. At Weed Beach, the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail construction project, the large project, was removed from the budget, but the bid package for the Meadow and Trail which was for $25,000, which was requested by the department and was supported by the town administrator. And then we'll talk about that again later, but it was removed from the list. The board it was removed from the request. Um,
And
Can you tell
Adele,
me
do you
more
want to
about
just
that
mention
project?
one of the things that Kate mentioned was anything that was $1 million or
that's right.
more, she pulled out
Yes.
because she wants to look at that separately, and that basically is a trigger for having a building committee. And so that doesn't mean that they don't support the idea of a Weed Beach Meadow and Trail. It means they want to take it out of this budget. If we do it, it would be likely bonded anyways, and we want more time to do diligence and with a separate group. So,
And she
So,
did that across the budgets, all
mhm.
budgets she did that with. Yeah.
so without taking up too much time for those who know, because I noticed it was a donation item later. Just briefly, what's the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail project? I was trying to envision it from the description. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about it, but I can tell you about it now or later. So
You do it later. That's fine. You keep going.
it's
Could I
okay.
ask a quick clarifying question on what you said?
Sure.
So the meadow, there will be no trail. And Tony, I love this trail. There'll be no trail. this year, is what you're saying.
That's
What?
not
No, wait.
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
What right now? Well, I'll go ahead and tell you about this because we're gonna. That's what the appropriation for later is. So, what happened was, yeah, the big thing, got pulled out, and but the bid package was still in there, and so the commission talked with the Darien Foundation to see if they had interest in helping, if they were interested in the project at all. Um, they are still, and they're willing to support the project up to $350,000 if it's done in this year, and so therefore they were willing to pay for the bid package. So that's why the bid package came out of the Capitol, and they're going to cover the bid package. And then that doesn't mean that the Board of Selectmen or anybody or the Board of Finance has approved the overall project, but it means that the bid package will go out. Then they'll know whether their numbers are close or not. So that's the point of doing that, and then they'll go from there.
And one of the reasons that the Darien Foundation is tied to trying to do it in this next fiscal year, our fiscal starts, July through June, is because it's their 20th anniversary, and they were looking for something big and special to do. And so it really kind of coincided with what we were doing. They were involved in it in the beginning, and then everything got put on hold several years ago with COVID, and because the prices were escalating. But now that we've reduced the price, cut out the boardwalk, there's still going to be there's still going to be a trail. But the main thing to just know is, as Adele said, it's a great thing that they offered to pay for the 25 grand for the bid package, because the selectmen are excited about it, but they don't want to say yes to something and find out it's going to be twice the amount. So this will be very helpful for us to know where the numbers are. And this was all done with Weston and Sampson and Dan Biggs.
Yeah. So what it is that it's the short lane property down at Weed Beach, and it's expanding the beach, filling in the wetlands, and enlarging the meadow there, and getting the invasives out of there, and then putting in a walking path around basically the perimeter of that, and one that will go over to where the junior sailing launches their boats, and putting gravel where they launch their boats, basically in that, and give them a good area there.
So it's on that, I guess, eastern side of Weed Beach then, kind of where the
Yeah.
bows, the racks, and
Exactly.
fairly area is.
Exactly. That part of it. Originally, the full project included a walking trail that really did the perimeter of the entire Weed Beach property, including a boardwalk on the sand. So this is a much smaller, and then it would do some work on the parking lot as well. But it would not pave it. It would be gravel, but it would
Well, we
upgrade.
pick up a significant amount of additional space.
Yeah.
I think like a half acre or so, just by clearing out some of those invasives back there and expanding. So they envision they'd be able to do, more picnics, and like the New England Ballet did a performance there this summer. And so now we'll have the vistas of being able to see all the way down to the water from there. So as we have so many new apartments and everything coming in at Federal Realty, Corbin, we're really trying to take advantage of using the space that we bought 10 years ago that's just been sitting there. So we're hoping
It's a
to be able
significant
to-
increase in the beach, area
Yeah.
itself.
I can't believe it's been 10 years. That's
Indeed.
amazing.
It is. There it sits. Okey doke. So that sort of, we'll talk about it now instead of talking about it so much in a minute or two when we're going to vote. So that's good. Let's see where we were in going through this.
Houlihan Field.
Yep. Well, not Houlihan, but McGuan Park. We're renovating the, let's see.
Patio.
Yeah, that's right. There was a valuation of 3 fields in there. Did I already say that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, $15,000 was put in, but was requested by the department for, to evaluate the Little League fields. They've been there 20 years. They are sinking in the baselines, and there was a nice lovely fellow that was at the commission meeting last night talking about it. But at any rate, $15,000 was requested. It was not supported by the town administrator nor the Board of Selectmen. And Little League has decided that they will support the $15,000 gift. And so that'll come to us. That hasn't gone through the process yet.
But that's for the evaluating of the three fields. The big
That's
number that was unexpected was the 250 grand
I
to
haven't got there yet.
fix the field. I'm just because it's tied together.
Not to fix the field, the 250 for the patio.
No, to fix the surface. I'm sorry, up by the patio.
Yeah, the patio. Yeah. That's the other thing that was requested from, yes, exactly. It sort of came out of left field, as you say. Renovate the cement patio there and for $250,000, and it was supported by both the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen. The irrigation valve for $18,000 was supported at Houlihan Field. Maybe I did get, oh no, I have gone through that, guys. Yeah, let's see where we are. So after the bid package for the meadow and trail, that was removed, and then the gatehouse that was requested at Weed, the department requested, and that was not supported. Well, that was deferred. In fact, most of the things that weren't supported were deferred to another year. Stripping the paddle court paint, that was supported. So was the commercial freezer at Weed. Bid package for the site work for Pear Tree Beach was supported. Bathhouse repairs and maintenance. The $50,000 at Pear Tree Beach was supported by the town administrator and the Board of Selectmen, but that was also one of those things that, as Patty was talking about earlier, that required some significant effort on to support for it to continue to be. So anyway, I think perhaps that we will need to continue to support that. I think what is missing right now is some detail on exactly, the cost for each bits and pieces. That's what folks are looking for. So we're hoping that will be available, but when we get to the Board of Finance.
Can I just say one thing, Barry? I see you on there. If Jenny has not sent you the 3 PowerPoints tied to the survey we did for Pear Tree Point Beach, that several of, RTM Parks and Rec people were on it, as well as the Parks and Rec Commission folks. It was very detailed. It was a survey that went out this summer asking, needs and requests, everything from the concession food to what would you like to see there, what wouldn't you, how do you think the bathrooms are in shape, etc. And that, it was overwhelmingly obvious that people weren't looking for a 2 or 3 story building or fancy food. It's more of our laid back beach. They wanted clean bathrooms. They were looking for the fit and finish of Weed Beach in terms of cleanliness and sinks and things like that. They'd love some Adirondack chairs. They'd like some, little light grassing and landscaping. And so where that 50K came from was in the December meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission. I think it was the December. They put in 50K as a placeholder as they went out to talk to Neil Huck and some other people to get some numbers on what they felt would, how much it would cost to make some of those changes within the bathhouse without it affecting the overall project. So really, it's maintenance. The majority of it is maintenance with some additions of, like, if they do 8 Adirondack chairs, if they do a beach cover, things like that. And so Pam and Lori Borer are working very hard to have those details ready for March 7th when the Board of Finance meets.
Thank you.
moving on to the small capital and the park and rec equipment was supported, as was the mower, as was the paint machine, as was the stump grinder. So the rest of it stayed the same. So really, and then backing up the thing, as I said before, most things that weren't supported necessarily were deferred. The nature center paving wasn't supported but was deferred. And the gatehouse was deferred as well. So the Board of Selectmen presents their budget now to the Board of Finance on the 7th of March. The public hearing is on the 14th, and then the Board of Finance will start to review the budget. I don't know which day they're going to review Park and Rec yet, but they will start their review on the 21st. They'll meet the 21st, the 28th, the 30th, the 4th, and vote on the 6th. And then it will move on to the RTM. And that's a budget update. Does anybody have any questions on that? I feel like I got it memorized by now, almost. So now we will move to the discussion and vote of the acceptance and appropriation of a grant of $25,000 by the Darien Foundation for the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail construction bid package. Which I think we mostly went through it already. Here's what the resolution says. Resolved. Now therefore be it resolved that the representative town meeting of the town of Darien hereby authorizes and approves the acceptance of gift with thanks to the Dortleman, I think I read this to you, Dortleman family in the amount of $20,000 for the repair and restoration of the Cherry Lawn Park gazebo. No, that's what that, sorry, excuse
No,
me.
you
guys.
want the, yeah, you want the
Want
Weed
the
Beach
other
one.
one, yeah. The problem was that I was saving paper and I did it back to front, and so therefore I'm out of order. That's what it is. Okay. Now that the representative town meeting of the town of Darien hereby authorizes and approves the acceptance of a gift with thanks to the Darien Foundation in the amount of $25,000 to obtain firm financial estimates for the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail construction bid project. What I was looking for was the kind of answer, but I think we did a good job of explaining already what the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail project consists of the following work: mitigate and fill wetlands, approved by the EPC in 2019, and clear out brush and various invasive trees to open up the property's waterfront backdrop, remove stone wall near beachfront and extend beach over the asphalt drive and to connect directly with the new lawn area, improve current beach erosion with natural dunes, which will prevent sand from being pushed back into the access road, leaving large areas that need to be replenished. Add small gathering area for events, entertainment with the beach and Long Island Sound as the background, integrate a sloping lawn that extends forward towards the gathering area to enjoy family picnics and community events, to create interconnecting handicap accessible pathways along the waterfront, which will provide residents with a safe place to walk, run, bike, and utilize a wheelchair and push strollers. So this has been accepted by, proposed by the commission, and it's been to the Board of Selectmen, and now it's coming to the Board of Finance, and now to the RTM. So may I have a motion to accept the $25,000?
Patty?
Tony, second. Cheryl, are there any questions since we already discussed it? Okay, all right. All those in favor of accepting the gift and approving the, actually, I think it's a grant, the gift and grant. Let me look up, read it, making sure it's properly.
Okay, wait a sec.
Acceptance and appropriate.
Authorize the acceptance of a gift from the Darien Foundation in the amount of $25,000 and appropriate said amount for the Weed Beach Meadow and Trail construction bid project. So all in favor, raise your hand, everybody. Okay, that's
Wait a second.
unanimous.
Okay.
And there's my notes.
Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Okay, next is the chairman's report. Okay. I'm just going to remind you, and then I'll send this in an email so that you can all volunteer, that we probably need to sort of have different people volunteer to follow some of these other commissions that we might at some point to have to report on. And I'm just going to read you the names of what it is, and I'll send it out. You're going to need volunteers and basically all you're doing is, reading the minutes or maybe watching a meeting, just sort of stay current with maybe what's happening in these places, because every once in a while something pops up and we ends up coming to the RTM, and if we haven't been following it, we really don't know what's going on. So one is the Beautification Commission, 2 is Monuments and Ceremonies Commission, Advisory Committee on Coastal Waters, the Harbor Master, 5 Mile River Commission, the Pear Tree Beach Building Committee, which Cheryl, I think, was taken care of, and the Bicentennial Committee, which Shannon, I'm not sure if that's really, is it done now or is it still?
We still have 2 more markers to put downtown, which is it's been thwarted by all the great progress there. So almost, so let's keep it on until we land the plane.
Okie doke. All right, we'll let you.
Adele,
do it. Yes?
after Harbor Master and before Bicentennial, there were 2 other things. I didn't catch them all. After Harbor Master.
5 Mile River Commission.
Okay. Got
And
it.
then the Pear Tree Beach Building Committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. All right then. Actually, a couple of those, they have budgets, not much of budgets, but they do have budgets. So, but I was sort of looking at those, and you don't need to worry about that. But I think that Monuments and Ceremonies has a budget, Harbor Master has a budget, and one other one has a budget. Beautification Commission has a budget. Mostly the rest of what I have to say is just bits and pieces from the commission meeting. If you watched it last night, then you'll know mostly, or if you were there, which a couple of us were there, you'll know about it. They talked about an update on the beautification funds that was $18,000 to spend basically on plantings during this fiscal year, and the commission had decided that it should go towards Pear Tree, because that's the neediest place, they thought. And they had sort of had an idea what they would do. Then they asked Dan Biggs to maybe put together a plan, and that that he would that Weston and Sampson would supervise it, and that when it came back, it was awfully expensive. It was over it was almost $15,000, and so that would eat, and that's no plants. So they decided that probably wasn't the best idea, and so they got to revisit what they're going to do. So right now they don't know. They're just trying to figure it out, to be honest. Part of the one of the things that the commission had discussed that they were trying to do was perhaps help keep the water all out of the road, keep the sand out of the road, maybe some of the plantings, they could put in some berms or whatever. And so now they're not so sure about that, but they certainly still want to concentrate on Pear Tree, and they certainly still want to put plantings in. So they're just going to have to think again about, and they know they need to be mindful actually about where they put it, and also not waste it in in any way, if hopefully the project, the larger project will happen, and so they wouldn't want to waste anything. So that's the idea. So they still haven't finished that. So ongoing.
And Adele, do you
Yeah.
want to just mention that there was someone that Susan Daly and Lori both knew that they were going to reach out to? I don't
Yeah,
remember the woman's
they
name,
had
but
thought.
they
I
felt
don't
like,
either. Yeah.
yeah, she could come in and, at 1/10 of the price that the other guys did, and give us feedback and help us get the plants and then help them get them in. So it's not a dead issue, so to speak.
No, it's to be continued because they are committed to Pear Tree. So the other thing they talked a lot about was pickleball and the reservation system that they've been working. I think the office has spent a lot of time on it. They've got, it's very, very popular. There's a lot of pressure from the senior men's group and from all the other folks that love pickleball. So they've been working on trying to get a reservation system, and because in their fee schedule they set up a fee for reservations. And so what I'm going to do is just they create what they have done. They've managed to figure out how to do it with the software that they have now, their own computer. So what they've developed a schedule, and it consists of open play, 90-minute play, 90-minute reservation slots, and times for lessons. So, and they expect to have growing pains, but they're trying hard to accommodate everybody that wants to. And in part, they are thinking of using the temporary to have some beginner lessons on the tennis courts with the temporary, what I'm trying to say, Patty. Yeah,
Right.
just yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
The
Right
tennis
now
court.
they've
Yeah.
got some tape
Yep.
that they
Yeah.
can use it
Do you want to
on,
give them
and
the amount just so people know? It's $5 per person. So if there's four
right,
people
or
playing,
it's
it's $20
$20
a court
for a
for
90
the
minute
90 minutes. Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so it's not, doesn't break the bank, and that's only for if you reserve.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
And you can reserve a week in advance. The Darien Men's Association they're honoring the fact that they play on Tuesdays and Thursdays at a specific time. My computer's about to die. So they're honoring that time, but those guys will be playing, those gentlemen will be putting money, will be reserving as well. But they'll kind of block out a longer period of time. Everybody else just has the opportunity to reserve a week in advance, which is great because it's not just a day in advance and it's not a month in advance where it's too much. So
yeah, and
as Adele said,
it's a printable receipt, and so yeah, online.
Yeah.
So for paddle, you can, you book at the beginning of the season, kind of your time for the whole year. If they're not going to do that for pickleball.
not now. They're going to look at it at the end of each season and get feedback from the stakeholders and major people that were involved in the beginning, and tweak it as it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
But
They're really
we're
trying to
not having an
accommodate as many
FTE
people
as a
yeah,
result. Like at Paddle, there's somebody down there that we've hired. That's
right.
not the case here. So it's an honor system, but as Adele said, you have a printout so you can go and show. So
Yeah.
let the games
Um,
begin.
yeah, and one of the few phone calls I've gotten is somebody wants to know about pickle.
There you go.
Um, yep. Um, they seem to have an issue with a slippery bank that they're going to have to deal with, with that people using, the grass and so forth.
Mm.
And the last little bit of news was Patty, there was some vandalism there. Yes.
Yes,
On the pickleball
unfortunately,
court.
there was vandalism on the court. There was spray paint done on one in the one court and then a little bit on another court. And it happened. We kind of narrowed it down. I filed a police report. It was first time it was spotted was Sunday at 8 a.m. So we think it happened Saturday evening. And Officer Cheryl wrote it up and followed up and came and took photos, and that's a tough one. And it's a shame because it's going to, it costs a decent amount of money. The good news is it's starting to fade a bit, but we can't repaint it. The Parks and Rec folks tried to clean it up, but it wouldn't come off. So can't repaint it till it gets warmer. But I know I have my theory what happened, but it is what it is. So
Yeah.
hopefully that never happens again.
Exactly. Hopefully it never happens again.
It was
They
red,
also,
that's all I'll say.
yeah, it was bad. Said at least it was a smiley face, right? So anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
what else did they talk about? It's a little bit. They discussed actually, I think, music in the parks and maybe some objectionable music in the parks or maybe too loud music in the parks. So what they were discussing was that they probably need to have to tweak their rules and regulations and decide what rules in the parks about music that they want to have. So that's coming. Folks evidently have been commuter parking in the Baker parking lot by the playground there, yes, by the football field. And so there likely is to be signage put up to say that it is not commuter parking, that you're not allowed to park there more than probably 3 hours at a time. So that's a bit of an issue. The Darien shellfish beds are open again. I'm sure you're waiting for that. And that there's also, once again, state legislation about parking at the beaches and access. And so if you're interested in that, there's a public hearing on Friday. It's very similar legislation to what the town responded to last year, and will respond again, but always good to keep an eye on that. Any questions for any of those guys? Okay. So I'm talking here. Now I'll move on to other business. The only thing that comes to mind is that we probably haven't heard from our work group folks that are involved. Sarah, did you want to bring us up to date on the playground? I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up. But this is the working group, the commission's working group, and I know you guys have been meeting. They're just just a high level. Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, and Alyssa, let me know if I'm forgetting. I feel like we've had one meeting because we canceled today's.
Today
right,
was supposed to
Alyssa?
be this morning, and it got
Yeah,
pushed
just-
So
back
you
to
didn't
after
have
the
it?
February break.
We didn't have
We
it
didn't have it today.
with the holiday, right? The whatever February break coming up. They just thought it might be a little bit too hard for everyone. And then we just had, but it was a small meeting, right, Alyssa? The last one that we had, I don't think a lot of people were
I think you
on.
decided
so-
on the color of
Yes.
Of the floor and play.
We did,
yeah,
and we
so
can
went with the
send
color of
a
the floor
picture
plan.
out of it. And we went with the tan.
The tan. Mm-hmm.
We went with the tan. Yeah, it was between the tan and the green. They were both great choices. But I think the majority of people really liked the brightness of the tan.
The tan, and it wouldn't fight the
Emma
green.
Guan.
Yeah,
Emma
it wouldn't
Guan,
fight
yeah.
the green. This is from McGon. It wouldn't fight with the green. Kind of fought the colors of the green in the
Right.
structures. So the tan just was a little less of a weird contrast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
so
you guys
that
decided
was-
what you're going to go next, which playground you're going to do next.
So we did
Okay.
discuss that, and I think
I don't
we
know if
were
it was-
leaning toward. Well, I think we kind of went back and forth on it, and
Yeah.
I think we were kind of leaning towards Cherry just because Cherry does obviously get the most use. But then I think we also played around with the idea of do we kind of do them simultaneously and just kind of not, kind of have like one group kind of focus on the one so that we can figure out like, again, it's been a huge learning curve for a lot of us. Susan has done this before, so she's a great help. And I think we're just kind of trying to figure out the best way to keep it going and to figure it all out. And I think Pam was also thinking about trying to see if other vendors wanted to try to present to us outside of the vendors that we had. We narrowed it down to from the last ones. So yeah, so it was just a lot of the back and forth. And I think we also, Pam's just really trying, it takes a while, right? Like if we meet once a month, there's a lot of lag time. So we had discussed trying to meet twice a month. And, just so at least they're posted and they're on the calendar. And so we've got that. So hopefully we can kind of keep this, going. I mean, the deadline's what, 2026, I think was the year we
Yeah,
have to
time we
use
have
it
to
by.
use the money.
So,
Mhm.
we've got time, and no one's in a huge rush. But it's, I think we know Cherry Lawn's gonna take us a while to really try to figure out, especially since we all learn very quickly how fast the money goes. And you can't get, it's like house shopping, right? Like you have your wish list and then you realize, oh wait, I can't get it all. And so I think we realized that come Cherry Lawn, we have to really hit it out of the park because it's it's just the best playground that we have in the area. It's the most popular, it's the most used. And we want to make the town happy and proud, and we want to do the best we can with this, amazing opportunity that we have to
For
improve.
Tony's benefit, these playgrounds were in the 6-year plan, 6-year capital plan, and they were pulled out because they're being funded by ARPA money. And so that's, don't ask me to tell you what ARPA stands for anymore. I used to know it.
American
Roughly, what is
Rescue
ARPA?
Plan.
Thank you,
Patty
American
will tell
Rescue
you.
Plan. Thank you. Yeah, so that's what these are working groups of the commission that are sorting out the playgrounds that are going to be replaced. Okay.
Yeah, so Tony,
Thank
we
you, Sarah.
started with McGann. We started with McGann, and that one has already been, we went through, we went through various vendors. So that one is locked in now. So now we'll be moving on to 2 out of the 3 playgrounds that we've budgeted out within the ARPA funding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with our next meeting too, because we've all gone through it once, we're all supposed to be coming into the next meeting with kind of ideas and wish lists and, a little more focus, because with the last ones, we were all just learning as we went and we weren't really sure what to expect. And so this time now, we're hoping that we can dive in and move a little bit faster because we've all gone through it once. And so we've all been kind of doing our research and taking our photos and coming up with ideas from local playgrounds so that we can come in and, have some bigger ideas and kind of go right into it. And then we can, look at a lot more vendors, then we can give them a little bit more as opposed to them just coming up with an idea. This way we can kind of throw a little more at them to begin with.
Alyssa, did you talk about the 3 vendors that without going into detail, but they did teach us a lot, which was great.
Oh.
And then we tweaked it along the way. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it was, and it was something Pam had really done an excellent job reaching out and working with these vendors, and the vendors they really wanted the business. So they were willing to work with us and they were willing to come down on the pricing and make adjustments in order to fit within our budget. So, it was really a good, a good process.
I was impressed. You guys have done a lot of work, and I know you still have a lot of work in front of you, but thank you. The other group that I think we haven't heard, I don't know, have the invasives met, Patty?
It was good. They were going to meet a week ago, and then there were conflicts with budget meetings that several of us were going to, Lori, myself. So there is a meeting next Tuesday evening.
Okay. But we've been talking about invasives because they are in the budget, and they're in the weed project removal of. Oh, that was the other thing that that Pam talked about, Geary talked about at the commission meeting, was that the maintenance staff has been working very hard. First of all, they were clearing the area down at Weed Beach for where the paddle hut, not the paddle hut, the paddle court, the new court will be built. And so they've also cleared a lot of invasives out of that area at Weed. So I haven't seen it. Patty, have you seen it?
It looks amazing. As we talked about, picking up more kind of partial acres to the east side, when by the boats
Right.
and stuff like that. It's the same thing. It just is opening up so much. The back towards the volleyball court, which is the sand court over there in that picnic area behind those back tennis courts, and then over by the behind the paddle too. So, I mean, we essentially will end up getting a circular, I believe, a circular route all the way around the park that doesn't have to be paved. You know, it can be wood chipped or whatever, and for that back part there because it's more natural. So, I'm excited. I think Weed Beach is going to look great.
Okay, that's kind of all I have. Does anybody have any other business? Yes, no, Patty?
I'm starving. I'm ready to
You and me both.
unload.
You and me both. I'm tired of talking too. I'm sure you're tired of listening. So that's the high points, and we will see you in a month. Hopefully, we will see you. Maybe everybody follow the Board of Finance, and then that's the budget will intensifies a bit here. So we'll need everybody's support, and look forward to seeing you guys in a month. I guess, does anybody have any problems getting on on GoToMeeting this time? Did you do okay? I mean, I didn't have any problem at all this time.
They must have
Yeah.
upgraded because it was much smoother.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Really
They
nice.
strengthened
Yeah, thank you for keeping us in the loop, so updated with everything with the Parks and Rec Commission's packages and, you know, the updates on all the upcoming meetings with the Board of Finance and the selectmen. It's really helpful because it helps us to plan in advance if we want to make the meeting, but if we can't, we can watch it on channel 79 or on Vimeo at our
I know
Patty leisure.
Patty was present for the. I was there for one meeting for the budget, and Patty was there for the next one, and she was.
Team member.
I'm very glad to say she was there for the where they threw out the cuts. So it was good to have somebody there, and a lot of us were out of town, so it was really
My
helpful.
eyeballs on them.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll keep that in mind with Board of Finance too. So thanks, everybody. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you.
motion.
Patty, Kim,
Happy post Valentine's Day.
absolutely. Everybody raise your hand, say goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time, guys. But
Take
thanks.
care.
Thanks, Will. Thank you,
Have a
everybody.
great week. You
too.
traveler.